you have gone back in time to the beginning of the 1960s. This is an interactive...
Hello, I'm Steve Kime with the City of Enid. Thank you for joining us right here on the stage for Decades Rewind. And with me this afternoon in preparation for the Thursday night show is Peter Gatti. Peter, welcome to Enid, Oklahoma. Thank you for bringing Decades Rewind to the show. We're on the stage, kind of quiet right now, but I'm sure in a few hours it will be hopping. I guess we could say hopping?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, first of all. And yes, in a few hours it'll be surely hopping. They'll be full of energy.
Yeah. Speaking of energy, nice shirt.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Little throwback, but that's what we're all about.
Yeah. Peter is the producer, the co-founder, and also the keyboardist. Nothing like having several titles with your name. Right off the bat, what will folks experience tonight, Peter?
Biggest thing I'll say is fun. It is a party. It's lots of fun. We're so excited to be here because our show lends itself to dancing and having a good time, and with the setup you guys have made here with the tables and the dance floor, it's going to be nonstop energy. We basically do 60s, 70s, and 80s music. We start in the 80s and rewind to the 60s. We have 3 huge video screens portraying American culture throughout those decades, from Woodstock to Vietnam, you name it. We have over 100 costume changes, and we have 14 people on stage between the 6 vocalists and the band. So again, it's nonstop energy, just more fun. It's going to bring you back to those days. It's a great date night kind of thing. It's just lots of fun.
Okay. Very good. Now, you're talking to a retired disc jockey here, Peter.
Right.
So I was in the airways, if you will, back in the 70s, but I played a lot of 60s and, of course, 70s type music. Sure. So this is right down my alley, if I can use that phrase. So as co-founder, how did Decades Rewind get started? How the concept, how did it all begin?
It's an idea I had in my mind for a long, long time, and me and the drummer, Mark Blinkhorn, who's the other co-founder, we were actually playing in a cover band together. And like most good ideas, a napkin and a beer were sitting there, and we started talking. And I said, you know, I have this idea. I'd love to do a band with 60s, 70s, and 80s and some video. And he said, oh, my goodness, I've had the same thought, and we can do video. And next thing you know, we brought it back to my studio in Tampa, talked to some other people. Next thing you know, we're recruiting, we're hiring, we're auditioning talent, and here we sit. It's just something that I always wanted to do and was given the opportunity. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go for it.
I have the opportunity to do a weekly radio show to talk city government news here in Enid, Oklahoma. And we have a chance, we call a segment called Steve's Pick Hit of the Week. Oh, wow. And this morning we played a song from the 60s, Percy Sledge, When a Man Loves a Woman. So it takes me back to the 60s. So with the 60s, 70s, and 80s, what do you hope to achieve taking people back to those 3 decades?
Biggest thing is memories. We want to bring back those memories. We hear all the time at our meet and greet, memories, fun, and tears. We want to bring back those memories. We want them to have more fun than they've had in a long, long time. And at times we literally bring them to tears because we might play that song that they remember when they first met their husband or their spouse, or that they played at their wedding. But we just want them to have a good time and just shut down the whole world for about 2 hours and just bring them back to the times of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Just memories, memories, memories.
Our special guest today here on the Enid Television Network is Peter Gatti. Peter, again, is the producer, co-founder, and also a keyboardist for Decades Rewind. You talked a little bit about costumes and the cast of musicians. Tell us a little bit about the number of musicians, Peter, and also the vocalists. Tell us really about the individuals that make the show happen.
Absolutely. They're the stars for sure. On the band side, we have your typical 2 guitars, bass, drums, and keyboards. We have 3 horns, a saxophone, trombone, and trumpet. But the real stars are the vocalists. We have 6 vocalists, 3 males and 3 females, and they cover every genre from rock to disco to funk to Motown, from Chubby Checker to ABBA, and they do it really well. Most of them are professionals, have been doing it a good part of their life. They're great entertainers. I'm very, very lucky to have them, quite frankly, because they're really that good.
Well, when you say Motown, that gets my attention, yes, because I remember getting introduced to music, and I would listen to my older sister's music, which happened to be the Supremes, sure, Frankie Valli, Dave Clark 5, and people like that. I didn't have money for records, so I listened to my older sister's music, and that's how I got introduced, especially to the Temptations and all. Yep. The show has been known as theater, concert, and a dance party all in one. Explain if you can.
Yes,
sounds like fun.
It is. You know, it's not a theatrical event where you expect to sit down there and watch, because we encourage dancing and singing, which people do. It's not a concert in a sense that we're going to be this loud rock and roll band, because we're not, but there is a lot of choreography, so it lends itself to a feel of a musical and such. So it's all of those wrapped into one. Again, it's a live band. A lot of shows these days, that's not the case. They got a lot of background tracks and such. What you see on stage is what you hear, so the band's very involved. We got some incredible musicians that are a big part of the show. But yet we have those 6 vocalists that at times are doing that choreography and in their right spots and hitting their marks. So it's all those combined. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's a big party. It's unlike anything you've ever experienced.
Peter, you mentioned over 100 costume changes. Without giving, different pieces of the show away, does that help take everyone back in the audience to the 80s when they see the clothes, or the 70s or the 60s? Is that one of the purposes?
Absolutely. We want the experience to be visual as well as audio. And the costumes will be everything from era-specific, like maybe some hippie stuff, like maybe tie-dye, to genre-specific, like a disco outfit. And we hear people all the time, oh my goodness, I saw one of your vocalists in that disco pants, and I remember wearing them back in the 70s when I used to go out dancing. So absolutely, it's another aspect of the show that brings back those memories. It helps them remember those days.
If I hear you correctly, there's a chance to see bell bottoms?
I think you might. I just think you might. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
With all the energy that you just shared with me in our short visit today, I've got to ask you, how much fun is it to put on this show?
It's unbelievable. Honestly, I can't even explain it. It's as you said earlier, I'm the promoter, I'm the producer, I wear all these hats. I'm a babysitter sometimes, but 23 people counting our crew, who we can't forget because they make it all happen. But those 2 hours and change on stage is so much fun and makes it all worth it. From the breakdowns in the bus to the late nights driving to whatever the case may be, it is the most fun, quite frankly, I personally have ever had in my life doing anything. And I've done quite a bit in sports and everything else, but it's the most fun you can possibly imagine for us. And you'll see it. You'll see the energy. We hear that at the meet and greet again every night. Oh my goodness, you guys are full of so much energy. You all are having such a great time, and it's evident how much fun we're having.
And oftentimes that enthusiasm is contagious with everybody
Absolutely.
In the audience.
That's the idea of it.
Peter Gatti, a producer, co-founder, and keyboardist for Decades Rewind. Thursday night, Enid, Oklahoma, at the CNB Center, and you definitely want to get your tickets. The show, I believe, gets underway at 7:30. Come early and get ready for a great evening. As we close out this interview, Peter, what word of encouragement do you have for folks to come to the show tonight?
Be ready to have a good time, and we encourage people to dress in their favorite 60s, 70s, or 80s outfits or costumes or whatever you want to call it, because the more you get into the feel of the show, the more fun you'll have. But just come ready to party and have a good time, and you'll leave here emotionally and physically drained because you won't stop all night long.
Very good. Peter, again, thank you for visiting us here in Enid, Oklahoma, and we look forward to the show. And is it loud?
It is not loud. It's just loud enough to be good, but you won't have to wear earplugs, I promise.
Okay, very good. Well, I have a full paisley blue shirt, no bell bottoms, so maybe the paisley's in order. I'm not sure. Okay. All right. Well, we hope to see you at Decades Rewind, CNB Center, Thursday night tonight, and 7:30 gets underway. Get your tickets. Come have fun. 60s, 70s, and 80s. Peter assures you you'll have a great time. We'll see you this evening.